Wait, did The Rock turn heel? And what are the next road to WrestleMania? What do we expect that will happen? Stay tuned in the Two versus Brother podcast. Pedro, the Two versus Brother podcast, as we have talked before, it covers a variety of topics. And one of our topics that we're so passionate about is on WWE. And we decide to bring this up because this is a big deal, Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
This event, we've been watching wrestling for many years, and no event, like, we noticed that the turn changed. And you said earlier today that Vince McMahon out and The Rock in. And today, which is the day after the reaction of the press conference in Las Vegas, and after tonight's Smackdown that we had, Pedro, what is your thought about what happened yesterday in the press conference?
Well, look, the press conference when I was watching it, it started off very negatively because the reaction of the crowd had to The Rock was very negative because of all the things that have happened before. We have to put this in perspective. Remember, Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, but prior to that, we had a glimpse into a possible future with The Rock coming back and going into talking about his desire to sit at the head of the table. Now, once we put that to the back because we didn't know when that was going to happen. You know, The Rock comes back, things could come in the future. Maybe it doesn't happen, but then came the realization once the Vince McMahon scandal came out and he was out, The Rock was in, and we have the announcement that he is now sitting pretty much at the head of the table on the TKO, which is the parent company to WWE now. So, from what I'm seeing here, Fredo, everybody is pissed off at The Rock because he had Cody Rhodes basically bow down to him, and
Now, with the
the
whole Cody Rhodes story, just as a summary, remember the whole reason why everybody is loving Cody Rhodes last year in WrestleMania. Remember, this is the story that he needed to finish. Last year, he was well on his way to become finally WWE Undisputed Champion. And he lost to Roman Reigns. And it would have been the perfect story ending there. Because after all the struggles that he had, losing his dad and going then to AEW and then coming back and having the opportunity to win it, he had it. But then Roman Reigns, thanks to his cousin, he lost that opportunity and he missed a chance. And I'll never forget that day, Pedro, at WrestleMania. While Roman Reigns was walking out with the title, you see Cody Rhodes just looking and looking, and he's like, my God, this was my chance. And you saw then the road that he went through. He went through Brock Lesnar, then he
Mhm.
was stuck in the mid card. And this was the moment. There was a moment in October in SmackDown, I guess in a way to test. They had a face off, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, with the rest of the bloodline. And everybody was there looking at it. My God, will it happen? So that's why, Pedro, like you were saying, everybody was so looking forward and knew WrestleMania was going to be, will Cody finish? Was he going to get the second shot against Roman? And then
Yep.
suddenly, just like that, it was taken away by The Rock.
Exactly. The Rock came in and he swooped in and he took what he thought was rightfully his. And he was going to come in and he's going to take over the main event at WrestleMania. But to the Rock's credit, what I am going to say is that this would bring eyeballs to WWE, which is money for TKO. You know, I understand that part of the business, but there are so many fans like you and me that have been watching wrestling for a long time, and go into this and see where does The Rock fit in all this, because the story needs to be Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns clash at WrestleMania for the second time, and at this time, Cody Rhodes needs to come out on top. We can't have this Daniel Bryan situation from years past, where they kept pushing him down for bigger and better talent.
Yeah, but what did happen? Daniel Bryan won in WrestleMania 30, so
Yeah,
he won, and that
but he won. But if you remember that WrestleMania, when WrestleMania 30, when that happened, that it ended up being like he had to go through, what was it like? He had to win a match in the beginning of the evening, and then have a match at the end. And not even that. You and me went to the WrestleMania where he opened the card, and he lost in like 5 seconds after a huge ovation from the crowd. Yes, 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 yes. Only to turn around and be smacked down in 5 seconds.
yeah, no, and he went through a lot of hell. That same night in WrestleMania 30, he faced Triple H in the first match, and Triple H then after attacked him, so he
Mm-hmm.
was hurt. And then after that, in the main event, he faced Randy Orton and Batista, and
Yeah.
obviously they were targeting him. Then Triple H and Stephanie McMahon interfered in the match during the main event,
Mm-hmm.
and he did it. So we're seeing the same story here with Cody Rhodes. Everything was thrown into it, and it was his time. It's his time. This his story to end. And
Yeah.
then suddenly The Rock, like you said, out of nowhere, had nothing to do, just got, in it. But now I'm gonna ask you this, Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at this whole situation with The Rock is known as probably the second most beloved wrestler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly, if you notice his promo, his last couple of promo, even in the interview with Pat McAfee,
Yep.
do you think The Rock has turned heel?
It's hard to say because the last time, to preface this, the last time The Rock turned heel is when he came back to face Hulk Hogan in Backlash. That's the last
Hollywood.
time.
Yep. Hollywood
That's
Rock.
of Hollywood Rock. And at the end of the day, you have to be honest. That was part of the best run that The Rock had in WWE, which is pretty much his last run.
Yeah.
That it started in Backlash and then it ended with Goldberg, and I believe it was another Backlash.
The next pay-per-view after that, yeah.
Yeah. So this is must see TV anytime The Rock comes back, and especially when he's a heel. But I do not know if this is gonna be a typical heel situation. What kind of strikes me as strange is the the angst that he had when Cody Rhodes came up and started talking about the family. The family that if the Samoan family that he comes from, Roman Reigns comes from, the whole bloodline, because they put it up on the screen, the bloodline.
Yep. Yep.
And this is something that we have seen from The Rock in the past. When people disrespect his family, he doesn't take kindly to that, which is part of the reason why he had his issues with Shawn Michaels in the past. But this right now is a very tense subject. Could it be that he's just upset because of the family situation?
Well, so then why did The Rock insulted Cody? Because he was upset. He insulted Cody Rhodes fans. He was
No,
calling
yeah.
Cody fans crybabies.
No, yeah. Look, it's starting to look like The Rock is turning heel. But this is not a typical heel run that we've seen in the past from The Rock. I don't think it's pretty much Hollywood Rock coming from a blast from the past. I'm thinking this is more like a corporate Rock. This is what it
Like
sounds
an
like to me.
authority.
Like an
Like,
authority figure. This is because
well,
even Triple H, which is coming into this next subject, Triple H went on SmackDown and had and pretty much said to the whole world that a certain someone needs to know his role, and he
Yep.
doesn't care where he sits at the table, because the only one that makes decisions here is him, and it's going to be Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and no one can change that.
But then, funny, in that same SmackDown, Paul Heyman, yes, we saw it after he told Triple H that next week Roman Reigns will be in SmackDown. So those of you who didn't see SmackDown, I'm breaking the news right now. Next week, Roman Reigns will show up, and then also Paul Heyman told Triple H, The Rock, both of them together will join SmackDown next week to confront Triple H with his decision. So this is turning into a big thing, because it's not only just the wrestlers. Now it's the corporate people involved. Triple H is the head of creative.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock is the CEO technically, or in the board.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna have a power struggle here. I think, like you were saying, Pedro, this is turning into a battle of authority. The Rock using this power to influence WrestleMania,
Mm-hmm.
to put himself into that match, and somehow the fans' reaction. I think Cody Rhodes, like Pedro, I'm gonna ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what made Cody Rhodes change his decision? Because if on Friday he
Mm-hmm.
was willing to give the chance to The Rock, but then on the press conference he instead picked Roman Reigns. What do you think happened there?
Look, if we're gonna go kayfabe, we're gonna be kayfabing this. He had to hear the fans, the WWE universe in an uproar online, at the shows, everywhere where Cody Rhodes could consume the information. It seems to me that he realized that at this point in time, he was not going to get the he wasn't going to end the story, because what's to say that, let's say if it happens, let's say that it's just it's not Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, it's Roman Reigns and The Rock. The Rock wins or Roman Reigns wins. How long are you going to have to wait to be able to get into one of them, to get to one of them? He needed to strike when the iron was hot. He could pick whoever it is that he wanted to pick. Seth Rollins made some great points as to why he should go for his title. But to be able to finish the story, to be able to do what he needs to do, what he couldn't do last year, it needed to be Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania. And
Absolutely.
it had to be that way, because if he doesn't do that, he, on top of looking like a punk, let's be real, he looks like a punk to The Rock, and like there's no way that this would have ended well for anyone. That's kayfabe.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about business, what we've always heard, what you and me have always said to each other, because we got it from the WWF, WWE back in the day. What's best for business? What's best for business is this situation that's going on now. Because you tell me, Alfredo, when was the last time that you had this much like energy and this much like excitement over a WWE product?
Well, I mean, and I've been a follower all the way back to the Hogan days and the
Mm-hmm.
Steve Austin days. Never, like for a long time. I mean, back then it was very great, but the only other time that I can say that there was much hype was the Daniel Bryan. But after that, nothing else. It was this.
Mm-hmm.
This has really brought. I mean, and looking at the comments through the WWE YouTube channel, people are amazed. People like they give thumbs up on this. So this situation has been the best for business. I think my thought is their plan all along was to have Roman Reigns versus The Rock. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the plan all along. That was maybe a condition that The Rock put. And I'm going to give credit to Dave Meltzer. That's one of the insiders always from the WWE. One of the conditions for The Rock was to be in this match. This is what he wanted. He didn't want to fight in Australia. He
Yeah.
wanted this WrestleMania to fight Roman Reigns.
Or
And
Saudi,
that was the
or
plan.
Saudi Arabia.
Or Australia. So I think it was going to be in Australia now in the next pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the plan. He wanted to do it in WrestleMania. But then what they probably didn't realize was the backlash. The Rock, I bet he's in shock of how much the people, because The Rock, every time he would show up, everybody would cheer for him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. They wouldn't boo him.
No.
But then, Cody Rhodes, of all people cheered for him, and he didn't expect that people were going to support him that much, that they were going to prefer. And for me personally, if you asked me 6 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
what would be my dream WrestleMania match? I would have said The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That
Right.
needed to be a match that needed to happen. But then the support, and I bet a whole bunch of people had that same opinion. But then some had, with the whole Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble and their support for him to finish the story, I think it threw a wrench into their plans
Mm-hmm.
and why they went and they changed their mind. I think this wasn't what they expected it. They expected maybe the love for Cody Rhodes to go away, and then he was gonna fight Seth Rollins in the other title, and then it's Roman Reigns and The Rock.
Oh, and
So
another thing that you need to take into account. Remember, CM Punk came back,
yeah,
and CM Punk got hurt. Maybe an audible was called during the Royal Rumble match because CM Punk, knowing that he got hurt, maybe he was the one that was supposed to go over.
no, CM Punk. The plan all along was to fight Seth Rollins,
That was the plan for him to fight Seth Rollins, and then he got hurt.
and then
So,
he got hurt.
and now he's not going to be available to fight at WrestleMania or
No,
anytime soon. So that threw everything into like a wrench in everything. Because now Seth Rollins doesn't have anybody to fight, and Cody Rhodes it has a situation where, you know what? Oh, we'll have Rock and Roman. We'll have this situation, and maybe we'll unify the title somewhere along the lines.
exactly. That's what they were probably thinking about, but they didn't expect that the fans were going to turn on.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, what has caught the most of my attention of all this, Pedro, is The Rock and Roman Reigns. Have you seen clips of how Roman Reigns, how The Rock, they're
Mm-hmm.
now united.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
united. Even you seen people in the video making fun of Roman Reigns because The Rock wasn't coming, walking the front, and then Roman Reigns behind them, like if The Rock is the boss.
Yeah, and then Paul Heyman with the championship.
And then Paul Heyman with the championship. So what is your thought about that alliance of The Rock and Roman Reigns? Do you think this is an alliance that's going to stick?
Look, to me, it's very strange because we have never seen a situation like this in the past. Where two people that want to face each other for whatever reason, for the family, for bragging rights, or for whatever reason, stick together like this, and the champion is the lesser of another person that's calling the shots. We've never
Yep.
seen this before.
Yep.
So I thought it very strange, but it seems to me like they're playing into this heel Rock, because Roman Reigns has always been a heel for the longest time. He's been a heel, and we were supposed to have Rock come in there and smash Roman Reigns, and that was gonna be the fight. It looked like that was the
He
going
was
to
going to be the hero that was going to end Roman Reigns' streak.
correct, and it's we don't know what the plan was end up going to be actually, but it looked like that was the case. Um, because at the end of the day, look, let's be honest. The Rock is the biggest star that has ever come out of the WWE ever. ever. You could argue Hulk Hogan, you could argue Austin,
Yep.
but none of them has done anything outside of WWE to the extent The Rock has. So he is the biggest box office draw. He is the biggest success in the Samoan family. So if we're gonna go out and we're gonna look at this, actually he is the less Roman Reigns is the lesser here, and I think that the plan all along was for that to happen and them to go and to be like this family unit. Because just think about it like this, Alfredo. How many times have you and me bickered and argued and all and been like
Yep.
against each other and everything,
Oh yeah.
even on the show?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But it's at the end of the day, it's you and me against everybody else. So this is kind of what we're seeing here, a sort of brotherhood coming out.
Okay, well, I mean, it'll be very interesting. I'll tell you this. It definitely has our attention. We're gonna dedicate once a week until the end of WrestleMania and on once a week to talk about the latest developments, what we expect gonna happen. We're gonna add this in the Two Versus Brother podcast. So definitely stay tuned. We are wrestling fans going back for many years. We do follow, we know the inside, and definitely, this caught our attention. We want to make sure that please on Monday, you're gonna keep track of what's gonna happen with Monday Night Raw. Maybe Cody Rhodes makes a, but next Friday in SmackDown will be the big one. Roman Reigns will face off. We'll be there with The Rock, and we're gonna hear what they have to say. But throughout the week, they will be putting some tweets. So if there's any breaking news, for sure, here in the Two Versus broadcast, we will mention it. All right, Pedro. Well, it was a pleasure. Definitely, we'll keep track of it, and then, remember, guys, just subscribe to this channel if you want to find out more about general sports, WWE, anything. Just join us here and like, this episode and just subscribe to it. All right, Pedro. Take care.
Alrighty, Alfredo.